February 9th. Here we go. Our first trial. Edgeworth's first trial as a defense attorney.
Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way? About me?
Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry.
So it's because of Larry that she's a suspect, because of the fucking blackmail letter.
I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Well, actually, no, she's a suspect because the only witness to the crime saw her do it. Like, are we sure this isn't another Matt Angard case? Because, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today?
No, I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Lee Stoneham, correct?
That is correct. It wasn't me.
Very well, then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I'm pretty sure that, like, a lawyer who's... As long as you pass the bar exams, I'm pretty sure, like, you can be you can prosecute or you can defend. Because, like, if you were someone's personal lawyer, you would defend them in court, but you would also represent them if they were to sue someone, right? So, in that case, I'm sure that Edgeworth has all the requirements necessary to be a defense attorney. Except for the badge, which is why Phoenix lent him the badge. Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. Oh, imagine that. Imagine a reversible. I don't think that's true. Like, the point of a prosecutor is just present the facts. Like, I imagine that there have been a few cases where the prosecutor suggests, hey, maybe let's not give the defendant the death penalty. I don't think he deserves that. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Like I've said before, the prosecutor, in criminal cases, the state prosecutor represents the state, represents the people. Mr. Edgeworth? Don't cry. It's simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I've been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
I honestly don't know how they would do a Ace Attorney game where you play as a prosecutor. Because in Ace Attorney Investigations, it's more of like a detective game. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris and Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ah, fuck. Prosecution's late. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. And then, out of the shadows, it's Von Karma. No, Von Karma. Winston Payne.
Yes, it was I, Winston Payne. You see?
I'm not doing that joke. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. Well, they're going up against Miles Edgeworth. If the prosecutor doesn't show up in the next 15 minutes, the defendant is legally allowed to leave. Oh! She's back! Oh, right, he never met her. I mean, you're not a prodigy at this... Von Karma, you say? The two prodigies of Manfred von Karma finally facing each other. Perchance, you wouldn't be of any relation to the murderer prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Yes, it is I. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? Now's your chance to be a big shot. That's right. I wanted to, like... Well, a long time ago, I live streamed Deltarune. Nobody watched it. I wanna do the Snowgrave route. So maybe I'll just record myself doing that. Maybe I'll upgrade at some point. You know, get a proper streaming setup. And my first stream will be Snowgrave. By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Oh boy. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There's no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't, but I'm sure once before in this— I told you, there's no such weakling! What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing. Just let it slide. Bailiff, remove that whip. I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Yeah, he's doing this shrug.
This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. Love you too, sis. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acted bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case, with as little weapon as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Stonim. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to a crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. Okay. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there. I'm not sure if I care for this at all. So he's Canadian, she's French. Quebec, hein? Fontaine de Simenac de fucking enfant. Tabernacle. I've only been to Canada once. It was a nice place. If I recall correctly, there were a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. I can hear much better now. Once again, your name and occupation, please. There was a volume dial on my headphones. I had to turn it up. Little old me? Oh shit, I forgot the voice. It was... Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. Oh, right, I was gonna... Irish accent. My name is Bikini. Let's see. How does someone not know how to flush the toilet after they take the Celtic? Nice to meet everyone. Nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet everyone. Well, you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with the lecture in their heart should leave the sanctuary at once. Oh, what? You mean there's never been someone in a bikini in this courtroom? I highly doubt that. This kangaroo court. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Fact, Lloyd the fuck is dream in the kind. That's. No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Father Ted. Hey, Father Ted. Have you heard about femboys? Small, far away. We've had one, yes, but what about second breakfast? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. Wahaha, wahaha. I am so sorry, any Irish people watching this. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe to myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? It's just a friggin' accent nightmare. It's a miasma of... That's a accent. That's America for you. That night I was helping an acolyte in her training in the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my backlight scratched up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hasakula Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I'd finished just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. So, simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hasakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back pain hadn't been so much pain, I wouldn't have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. That night I was helping an acolyte with a train in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back like swiped up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hasakula Temple. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 PM, so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, their job is simply to watch over the acolytes so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. Remind me again, where's the inner temple? There's the inner temple. Wait a minute, the bridge was burning during the murder, so... If she was in the inner temple, would she have had time to cross the bridge to do the murder? She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was at the back. That's when I saw it. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. It certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Oh boy. I was hoping an acolyte with a training in the inner temple. Alright, I know who the acolyte was. It was Maya. Well, as you can see, my back to Iris to help the acolyte and return to Kazakura Temple. There's no bath in there. That's when I saw it. But she was in the inner temple. Would she have had time? That's when I saw it. Would she have had time? That's a pretty far distance. I don't want to embarrass Edgeworth. So... Let's just... Ah, I knew it. Ha! The testimony contradicts the evidence. No, fuck. That's when I saw... I'll just press her on everything. That's what Phoenix would do. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? What? Conversing with the spirits is what you train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the question. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dosky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case. If that's the case. Oh wait, a tutor with a whip, and you're the spoiled child. She whipped you as a kid, didn't... When you were kids, didn't they? Then why did you return to the Hazakura temple, where the murder took place? As you can see, my back legs acted up violently, so I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura temple. Snow bath of the inner temple. That's when I saw it. The murder. My back leg stacked up, left Iris. No bath of the inner temple. That's when it was heading back, but it happened in the courtyard. And Iris was in the... There was something I was waiting for you tonight at Heavenly Hall. Tonight at 10. And the murder happened at 10. That could be... That does give... Oh shit, that does give Iris an alibi. No. Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Okay, still full of health. I'll just press her... Violently. That's right. Snow laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. That's horrible. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. ExpressVPN keys? Later, dude. Later, dude. I only have ExpressVPN so I can watch Doctor Who. So I left Iris to help the acolytes. There's no bath at the inner temple. So you returned to the Hazakura temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame or anything. It's a do-be-done-in kind of world after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? This is why you have to wash the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... Pathetic Miles Edgeworth. I don't even like women. Ha! You admitted it! Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench? I don't even like women. Ha! I did... Ha! I've got Miles Edge... Ha! You fool! I have gotten you to admit that you are gay! Everybody... And then everyone in the court says in unison, everybody knows that Miles is gay. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand. So... It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. You fucking muppet. So... Maybe... Isn't this a press twice kind of deal? The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? Go from my room to my hall. Okay. In other words, pure coincidence. One problem. How good this one is, this memories. Let's see, Faye. Regional weather report. Lightning strike. That has to have been it, right? Damn it. Oh, wait a minute. Now I know. She says that she sent Iris to help the acolyte, but Iris says that she was in her room. Like, why would she lie about that? If she was the killer, she wouldn't make up a lie like that. She would make up a more convincing lie, right? There we go. Got him. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Ancho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. Ugh, no! She said that. A defendant or a witness. Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? If the defendant was lying, why would she lie in a way that contradicts with the testimony when the testimony doesn't even suggest that she had an opportunity? Because according to the testimony, she was at the inner temple. She wouldn't have had an opportunity to do the murder. In the courtyard, the defendant is simply lying to cover her back. Witness could also... Oh, finally. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. Oh, yeah, Edgeworth, we're on the same wavelength, man. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Whoa! All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness or the defendant have any reason to lie. Francisco's, like, whipped Edgeworth, like, several times during this, but, like, he just, no reaction. Like, he is not affected by it at all, like, which means we must call your memory into question. Am I gonna have to cross-examine a testimony about her memory? We're getting off track. You're older than me and you want to play that game, do you? Oh, well, that isn't exactly what my memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Then I was helping an acolyte with the training in the inner temple. As you can see, my back leg strapped up violently. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. There's no... Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. I must always wear the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake. An excellent finish, thou witness. Still, I have to wonder. Oh, okay. Save. No, she wasn't. Yeah! Witness, let's get one thing straight. Which is the last time I, Miles Edgeworth, am going to say that. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon warden hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Ha 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 ha. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, is it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Irish she saw should have been missing this very hood. Oh, well. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradiction like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Well, I'm sure Edgeworth has also done his fair share of exposing contradictions. I'm sure he's a competent, probably the best prosecutor, even when he's not, using surprise evidence. This hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. That's the key. Edgeworth's thing, Phoenix's strategy is just pointing out contradictions and just making up an explanation for the contradictions, waiting to see what sticks. Edgeworth's strategy is logic. Yeah, so you see, this gun has his fingerprints, so this guy used the gun. Wow. Oh, I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. And this is quite strange. Ah! If there was a surplus of hers, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. Oh my god, she's also using logic. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath, on your way to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. Time to stimulate the judge's seeds. I finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, oh, Mr. Khalees. And with that sword of all things. Mr. Khalees was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in court. Never gonna happen, Your Honor. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I wish Detective Gumshoe was Edgeworth's co-counsel. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyways, this case is mine. Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? It's a form of respect. I finished my bath around 11. I thought I should return to the inner temple. How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, oh, Mr. Khalees, and with that sword of all things. This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains of these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... I'm gay. The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was as you saw. As clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that hasn't been bugging me all this time. Please, don't keep us in suspense. Her hood? Her hood? That's right. It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Ha! You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. Any arguments, Edgeworth? Just give me a second. Edgeworth being at his ass during that Phoenix Wright parody where Phoenix is the prosecutor and Edgeworth is the defense. It all makes sense. He would be a fucking nervous wreck if he had to defend clients if he had to represent the defendant every time. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you'll need to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have a hood on. You are sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. Ah, I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style, yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Your secret is safe with my indifference. I don't remember who said that, but oh well. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. I just didn't have a hood on. I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh? Miss Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor? No. Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. She was pushed out of the window? Oh, so that's why she has bruises. What makes you so sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump. Just like that. Your one smart sister gives you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Why do her feet look like they're made of wood? It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only two of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? Doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. We don't know. Did the murder happen before or after 10:45 p.m.? Why can't they never just give me a specific time of death? Why does it always have to be this estimate that's within an hour? Why is the margin of error always 1 hour? Oh! She fell after she died. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? I'm just going to cut out all the... That was a waste of time. You do not want to see me. The autopsy report. The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. Motherfucking autopsy report. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case,
Then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Stoneham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? It would also leave a blood trail. Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your weapons just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beer. It is not that cool. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, when the weapon's still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. That's why if you're stabbed, you don't take the knife out. You don't take the knife out, get medical help first. It's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. That is... oh my god. I must admit that is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Gay! With the whip? Oh boy. Alright, alright. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Army was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska von Karma, and I'm here to teach you just that. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we are talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports your theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it has splattered onto Iris too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditated in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? Come on, Edgeworth, say the line. Why was I not informed of this? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. But that doesn't prove she killed. Pulling the sword out. Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Sword coming out. I'm gay. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. I don't think it was just been smoothly drawn out. Look at that. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the... I wonder, for the word scene, is the S silent or is the C silent? Because S-E-N-E, that could be seen, but C-E-N-E, that could also be seen because there's a soft C. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please, explain. Explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Also, doesn't appear? What meaningless drivel? I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I so choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. Wouldn't go in smoothly either. Like, come on, it's like a fucking Tesla valve. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. Oh yeah, you get stabbed with that's never gonna heal. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. Objection and conjecture. Objection. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. Prove it. That's a nice argument, Von Karma. Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up. I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapons, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? It was, well... it was found sticking out of the, victim with the defendant's prints on it. It's because Mr. Kami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shito was the murder weapon. Order! Oh! So maybe the Shito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edge? Any arguments, Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw into the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Ugh, shit, hiccups. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, Mrs. Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? I saw the murder at 11 p.m. And after asking that to be reported, I went out to the main gate, saw tracks, snowmobile. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. You were knocked out? Iris could have done that. She could drive a snowmobile after all. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. I'm just gonna be quiet for a bit and chew on some food. How's that idea of, like, making French toast? If you were to, like, take 2 slices of bread, 2 regular slices of bread, put them together, then cover that in the French toast batter, you could get thick French toast. And you could even put something between the 2 slices, like Nutella or peanut butter. Because, like, you want to use thick slices of bread to make French toast. So just, like, stack the slices together. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile was... You could also just take a regular slice of bread, make French toast sticks. So, you're absolutely sure that it's 11 p.m. You are sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Your Honor, I request that we update the autopsy report. I know that's a meme that I am well known for, but I really think it's important because... because now we have a conclusive, a precise time of death. Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being indulged in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, now could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who trampled me. Seems she is the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have a cell phone on him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand too. You kids, you're always on your phones. Generation always on them phones. It's because of that damn phone. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated a snowmobile had been used. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded a murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question. Was it still warm at that time? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh?
What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought about that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? That would make sense. Run an engine. Yes, for some reason, only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. So it was recently running. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, less than 5 using one of those. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. There's a reason for that. Here, if we got a moment for me to explain. Wait, 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge. The weather report. Let's see, at 45. Would Iris have had enough time to walk from the inner temple to the courtyard and murder, Elise Stonem? Before the lightning strike? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about 1 month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Ah! I haven't been able to find the courage to light anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. You were knocked out? Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. The killer could have stabbed the victim with an icicle and then let the icicle melt. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? Or? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Think outside the box. Think backwards from your position. Which, don't do that in real life. Don't start with a conclusion and work backwards. Unless you're like 100% sure that your conclusion is correct. But like, you know, it's a video game. Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. I'll have to start poking holes in this slot account. Did the killer have a reason? Like, what would be the point of, like, throwing away the murder weapon if you were just gonna lodge a sword into your victim's back with your fingerprints on the handle? Like, went out to the main gate. Tracks. Wait a minute. The footprints. Is it because there are footprints on this photo? I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. You're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. Footprints. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? Why would the tracks cover only one? Why would the snow cover only one set of tracks? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. You gotta be shitting me with that. You've gotta be shitting me with that. Wait, no. I can debunk that. Is there a flaw in her theory? Come on, weather report. Snow 10 to 1.5, and is the idea that the snow covered one set of tracks? Come on, baby. There is a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks are erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Boom. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Oh. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. Oh, weather report. Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Oh. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Ah. Order! Order! Very well done. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Your Honor, a woman has died. A woman was murdered. It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow.
Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things.
Weather reports never lie.
Answer me this, then.
When is a weather report ever correct? Ah, no. You've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data.
Ah! Forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing in this vicinity well past 11 p.m.
Yeah, and maybe scallops grow out of my underpants. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh?
Oh my god. How'd you pull that? I just gave you...
Now you know how Phoenix feels. I just gave you 20 pieces of evidence showing that she didn't do it. Nope, don't wear this. Nope, not in my brain. It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to prove conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony.
You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing where the victim was killed? Oh, shit. When the... Oh! Boom! Tracks in the snow. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed.
That's right, but proving that is...
incredibly easy.
Huh?
If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception.
And that is...
the victim herself, Miss Elise Stone M. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks.
Order! Order! Just what are... This is just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. Yeah. Winging it. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing.
Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow.
Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Is no one going to say anything about the footprints?
Can I say something?
This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile.
Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder.
Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. Well, you did tell her to go there. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension... Oh, I'm gonna have to point to something. Okay, safe. So, she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that... Is it possible? Order, order. Oh, what does this all mean? So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in like that. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. I'm getting a brain blast. An idiot may well have gone wandering out that subarctic night. Your Honor. Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Very easy. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de la Duc. What? Jean-Luc de la Duc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim Elise Donem. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Oh my god. I'm just imagining playing a trial. Hey, Edgy! It's me! It's me! You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
Alright, I'll help you in any way I can.
First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple.
Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile?
There was only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Iris?
I can't tell you about that yet.
Yet.
Not until her safety is confirmed.
Her?
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? Maya Fey. She must be talking about Maya. Oh god, she's still there. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Ali Donim?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
As I thought. No cyclops. Very well. It's my job to get the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. God. Wonder what's gonna happen. It's better not be like a fucking, oh, I didn't kill her, but my split personality, Dahlia Hawthorne, did! Ah! I hope that's not what's going on here. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where's the witness?
Making jury duty. Ugh.
I'm sorry for that.
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery.
Suspicious behavior?
He was sketching something very intensely.
Do I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained?
He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip.
I could only presume that— Ah!
Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Laurie Stonem, I hope you're ready. Get in here.
Would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. I'm gonna enjoy watching that happen.
Ah! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. I have nothing but contempt for this court.
Hey, I was just artistic. Ow!
You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to handle your subpoena, correct?
Look, I'm nothing but a flinching artist, trading out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, viridian. I really should get around to playing VVVVVV, also known as WWW, or, yeah, WWW, Larry. This isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. Well, that's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake, bright red, or, use the technical term, crimson lake. Ouch! Ouch! Owie! Oh! Owie! Owie!
Stop your pathetic blabbing and testify like a man.
Refrain won't whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now. It's a good thing Edgeworth didn't get penalized for that. But this is too much for me. Edgeworth, the witness hurt my feelings. You're getting penalized. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridges a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I, Edgy? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers until during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. I find it quite simple, Your Honor. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. No touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? This one single statement is so... Wait, what? What the fuck just happened? I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, you really didn't see it? Hey, no need at your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see you. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile. If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? A cuckoo's nest. Shut up! What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems they'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm gonna strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. Spill the tea. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. I didn't see a snowmobile. I walked to the bridge a number of times. A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. So that's 100 minutes. 1 hour. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night. You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No, that was... Ah! You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering-whining wuss of a witness! Oh, man. So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering-whining wuss of a witness, eh? Yeah, you 6-piece chicken McNobody. Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. If Gumshoe was called that, he would have broke down crying on the witness stand, and it wouldn't have been pleasant to see. You wouldn't want to see that. It would have been a. You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this, and I'm just here to buy some radiant paint. Okay? Come on, I expect to see those question-like faces now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim he had nothing to do with this at the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I don't need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Okay, so... I lodge... Walked to the bridge a number of times. I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night. You saw me. You saw me. And Gumshoe. Oh, but that wasn't night, was it? It had to have been... Oh. Phoenix. Phoenix Wright. The ace attorney. By which I mean the bisexual attorney. I'm an idiot. Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic and you cause all sorts of trouble. Ooh. but having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction.
Edgy, are you trying to console me?
Nah.
It certainly doesn't seem to me.
Oh, now I remember who said that. It was fucking Percival de Rollo from Critical Role. Secret is safe with my indifference. But that does sound like something Edgeworth would also say.
It certainly doesn't sound that way to me.
However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create.
What? You're totally pinning this on me?
Now then, let's talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me, in the flesh.
Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change.
But what do you want me to do then? Stop being a doo-doo head. Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. Just get on with it, fuckhead.
I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? Let me be clear.
I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick.
You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you?
So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. Ugh. It totally burned out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burned remains was what caused Nick to fall.
What did you say?
Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold.
I never know with that man if she should be called lucky or unlucky.
Well, bad luck is a kind of luck.
Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. What did you do out there with the cold for an hour and a half? Heebie-deeb. Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
I set the meeting time as 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too.
Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end.
Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart!
Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bed when a white flash almost blinded me. This light was, of course, lightning. Like, kerpow! But you always hear... No, it's lightning, then the thunder. I was lightning before the thunder. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening. Like a slap from an enemy. Honestly, a big bada boom. Now, the bada boom is not from... It's a thunder. Or a little like that. Ah, that's more like a punch from Miranda. See, the crack of the whip also causes a small sonic boom because the tip of the whip, it's moving so fast that it breaks the sound barrier.
Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge?
Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so... I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Seeing that, what did you do? Wait, so it was like, he said 10, 15, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well from the fire in my heart. And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge? Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind. I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at worst doing this. So, let's see, it was at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30 p.m. 15 minutes later, lightning struck. I was lying on my bed but there was still some thunder, but when I went out to check it out, that's when I ran into Nick. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? Remember that it would have burned for 30 minutes. The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is this small shack you in from the bridge? Hold on. Well, it pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk, so 10 minutes in total. And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Why did you go to the bridge? So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge? Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so? Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was really cold. I didn't really want to go out there. If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning. In which case, please give testimony to that effect, witness. My reasoning? Oh, okay. Reasoning is it? I thought I'd never get another chance to see something so big burning. Can I press him on the other thing? Why didn't you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There was a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought about doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Yeah, okay. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later. I think that this is somehow contradictory. Yes! Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. Ooh. What the hey, Hedgie? You make me sound like I'm some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge. Meaning, you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his fallen act. Oh, got the face. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred at Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Oh. Excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurie Stoneham. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Well, maybe our coroner should be doing a better job at determining when all these victims died. Watch your foot in there, Miss Francisca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burned until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you just stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during those missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by a toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Bitch me. This guy's an idiot. So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness. Why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we were talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Oh, you fucking Randian? Like, oh, everything happens for a reason. Nah. Everybody does. No, I refuse to believe that Edgeworth is an objectivist. Edgy, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. There is a huge contradiction in this book, Atlas shrugged. It is, just as I thought. You've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time. Everything. Ah! Then say it. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. No, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? I'm missing 15 minutes. I'm Adonim. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. He. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy. Ominous. I don't like that. I don't like this guy. I'm a Donim. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Tell us, Larry. My name is Maurice. Get it right. Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. I'm not going to repeat myself. Just who exactly are you? I'm Maurice Donim, apprentice extraordinaire. That's what he calls himself in any case. Then you are an artist? Of course. I'm an artist. The real thing. Yet again, that's what he calls himself. Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing? That is a very big issue indeed. Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. Sketching? The burning bridge? The burning bridge and everything that came with it. I mean, that would be a pretty cool thing to do a sketch of. What came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is... Ah! Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? got a terrible feeling that the instant the sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Let's see it. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch. Please. Well, well. Even I couldn't have imagined it turn out like this. Imagined what? That Wright Stoneham's debut would take place here today, like this. Ow! Show it, now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Wright Stoneham. What the fuck? Is that Mothman? Ah. Well. So this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, Bill. It's pretty good drawn. It's better drawn than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those names. I really did. Well, yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. It's Mothman. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate looking figure? Oh, you spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course! Iris! What? I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay! Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Well, you see, it was raining, and what she did was she covered herself in oil, and that's how she was able to fly. Are you high? The girl, she's really high up in the picture. Are you high? Are you high? Larry is definitely smoking the shit that made Larry Butts. Smoking the shit that made Miles Edge. That made Phoenix Wright. This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test such theory. Please rub your own cheek from now if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for it. Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? Sorry, our voices swapped. Yeah, that was weird. This witness is your friend, is he not? Oh, making him sound like the goofy judge from the RT game streams. Accessory to foolishness. Miles Edgeworth. Oh, man. Let us get back to the cross-examination. By force, if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think of my debut piece? I kind of like... Get that thing away from me! Horrible sketch. I thought it was nice. Although, you know what? Maybe it's upside down. She's not flying, she's just falling. Like normal. Now, hurry up and cross-examine him. Got it. Sketching. I saw Iris flying. Her white hood. Oh! She wasn't wearing her hood. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. If that is true the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. Oh, what may that be? That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. Well, that sucks, because that could have been a really cool really good alibi. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolish foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood. Correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. Ah!
It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench.
Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps it actually was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy! What's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick! You Doog! I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage.
What is it now, witness?
It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today's the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I plead the 5th and the 2nd. I hate to have to do this, but I have some decisive evidence. Definitive? Oh, he said evidence? Psycho Manus? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Laurie Stoneham, shall prove it. I don't like this. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. What is the name of this sketch? Fuck. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy. Because I'm gonna feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time, trust me. That sketch is gonna be the thumbnail. You know, that's gonna be like when a child may draw something and it's like, oh, this is really good. I'm gonna put this on the fridge. I'm putting Larry's sketch in the thumbnail. When I reached Dusty Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. Crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? Why? But finders keepers.
That sphere. Where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere. Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. There's something on it. Pondering my orb. Oh my, it's blood! What? Blood? That's the crystal sphere that was in the victim's staff. You read, Judgy? You ready it? By tomorrow you'll be calling me Master Larry. Nobody's gonna call you that. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Laurie Stoneham only a few minutes ago? When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. So you went to the Burning Bridge. That's right, to meet Iris. She actually flew to get to me. The least I could do was meet her halfway. Or the defendant was not at the bridge when you got there, you say. I guess she went back to Hazakura Temple. She's a girl, after all. She must have wanted to look her best. It must be lovely to live in the fantasy land of Larry's mind. That's straight people for you. Actually, it's so depressing that I can't even work up the energy to point. So, what did you do next? I was so worried, so frankly searched all of... I think a beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow. Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. But... oh, I hear it. Each nun is assigned their own hood, and they are assigned only one. I don't know anything about that, okay? And Iris is special, alright, dude? Even if she did steal a spare hood, I'll forgive her. This is getting us nowhere. Our destination for the day, it seems. However, this crystal sphere was found near the bridge. That is a fact. If it didn't come from a hood, where could it have come from? That is the question I aim to answer. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. Yeah, someone could have. Fucking this woman. Larry. That night, there was someone. Someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donim, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? Da Vinci? I have a photo over here. Oh, and on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph! Give it back! You gave it to me! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. What? 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 Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, at least told him. Diaphragm is acting up again. First of all, this sketch, or I prefer to call it scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. Didn't you once prosecute a magician for murder, and like your entire argument hinged on the fact that only he knows how to fly? You can't do that as Nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize this as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Francisco and Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Ooh. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case? That crystal sphere. It was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent. Which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? Sure, let's go with that. All joking aside. Yeah, fuck it. Your Honor, the defense posits that Larry did it. Because we have just as much evidence that he did it as my client, except he's a dick. Just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There's no evidence that Elise Donim left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? What's your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere? If it's not related to the case, then this witness you called will have been nothing more than your monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Mr. Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Save just in case. Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Yes, you can. And can I prove it? That isn't the issue. Simply prove it. That's the only option. That's what he'd do. Oh my god. Hell yeah, Your Honor. Allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise. Because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I ordered you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, fuck. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Oh! Okay. Let's look. The courtyard. Do I see any... I don't see any impressions of a ball... Wait a minute. Is that the orb? Well, I have no way of confirming. Let's try this. This isn't gonna be it. This crystal sphere. It was half buried in the snow, correct? Wait, am I right? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. Or what? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing. On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. Because there was... Oh! Right. There was snow on the sphere, but not on the body. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What could that have been? This sphere? There is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. So, that's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. Sorry. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carries the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court will like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. Snowmobile. Ah, but that's not evidence. Snowmobile isn't in the evidence. Tracks. On that snowy night, there was one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. Ah! As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order! 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 Oh! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. Ah, shit. She is the one who moves the body. Doesn't that put... finally... I mean, all that proves that she moves the body. Still doesn't prove that she killed the... It still doesn't prove that she killed the victim. You're too late, Francis. Gavon Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim Elise Stoneham really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean?
Ah, do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it.
A dubious little creature getting up to mischief. This is no good. The beast is demonic in nature. Very icky, no good. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he's enamored. Yeah, he may be a worthless piece of shit that makes me ashamed to be myself. But he may be a complete embarrassment to our species. Proof that we are failing as a society. He may be an absolute buffoon, a fucking caveman. But he wouldn't lie. He drew this, so something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy. Thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Francisco and Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There is one reason, and one alone, for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to Wright. Really? Oh, that's what this is all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Francie whipping me. Oh!
Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel.
A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a Ah, Francie!
This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are an affront to all the legal systems. Ah! I demand satisfaction.
That was entertaining. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I'm counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, Wright. Court's now adjourned. Hate hiccups.